So where the game takes place is in an arcology, which is essentially a self-contained city within one building. And it was built by one of the mega corporations that feature in the game, like the main one that the game revolves around, which is called the Ascent group. Space travel is very expensive. It takes a very long time, so people basically indenture themselves to afford to travel here. I think one of the things is that we are leaning much more heavily into the sci-fi aspect of it. It's not based on Earth. It's more scientifically advanced, but it's we have aliens, we have space travel.
It's a bit otherworldly, and we very early said, before we had a story, before we had a game, we need a world where we can do anything.
People are basically stuck in this ecosystem where more or less everything is owned by the mega corporations. There's no central government. And the start of the game, you're just a handyman, and this corporation suddenly goes bankrupt. The other corporations start moving in to just pick the corpse clean, and you're just trying to make your way out of it and figure out what the hell has happened. It's an extremely tall building, and you basically go from the very deepest pits to the very top of the building. In the very basement you have, like the ferals, the machines. It's not really a place meant for humans. And then you have things like the slums, where it's definitely very human, but it's not a very nice place. And then as you go higher up in this building, the scenery changes, and there's different biomes and different challenges as a player as well. Like you face very different types of enemies throughout the arcology.
I mean, we have to remember that this place hosts many people. So it's not just an apartment building or an office complex. There are entire party streets. There are districts which is just about slumming, doing drugs, maybe some shady bars. There are residential areas for sure. There are art galleries. There's the maintenance areas. There's data storage areas. It's everything needed for a society to work, in more industrial areas and trading and all that, and all of that needs to be represented with an appropriate environment. So it's this might sound weird, but it's not hard to fit many themes into this arcology and the mega city it has become.
Yeah, a lot of it is just down to a lot of the thematics in the game are very much cyberpunk tropes and cyberpunk themes that are very common in cyberpunk. We want to make sure that everything makes sense in the world and so on. So we like things that explode a lot, dangerous weapons. So we need a world that can support that.
Now it's gangs and turf wars, along with mega corporations moving in, and just everyone against everyone trying to get what they can, and you in the middle.